and welcome back to another episode of Tash Teaches. I'm Tash, and in today's video I want to explore using the Stepwise device in the new Bitwig 5.3 beta version. I've been playing around with this in a variety of ways, and while I was really underwhelmed when I first discovered it, I've found a couple of cool use cases for it that have actually been quite fun. So let's jump right in, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. The first thing I'm going to do is add a Stepwise, and I'm going to add a polymer after it. And the way that this works, very obvious. I've actually gone in and adjusted all of the default positionings to be, or the default timing to be 16th notes, because I like to use things as a 16th note mainly. But obviously, if I were to just press play, you can see that it's now scrolling through the timeline, and I can put some little hits in here, and the corresponding notes here will trigger on the instrument after it. If you want to get rid of all of them at once, let's say I've got a bunch here and you don't want to go in and manually do them, you can just click here and then do remove, and that will get rid of them all. You can also press random, and that will randomly fill things. Delicious. But for now I'm going to get rid of it, because what I've found to be a lot of fun with this is not necessarily using it as a drum machine or a drum sequencer, but actually using it to basically be an arpeggiator of sorts. And so, what I want to do is probably pick a few notes, maybe we'll even turn off these top three, and we're going to create a 5-note arpeggio sequence. The first of which will be probably a C4. Let's see what a C4 sounds like pitch-wise. Okay, nice. So I'm just going to shape the envelope of this polymer. Nice. Okay, I want to do a few different lengths of sequence here. So before we even start changing that, I'm actually just going to go in here and say, okay, well, we want an E4, we want a G4, so this is a C major so far. If we do a D4, this is going to be the 9th of a C major 9, and we'll also do a B4. So this is, in theory, now a C major 9 chord, and if I were to just put in a bunch of random notes now, like this. Kind of cool, but it's obviously just a very repetitive sequence. What I would like is instead to, just get rid of all of these, have something that is a little more random feeling, a little bit more cyclical, but that eventually does repeat again. You know, I don't know how long it will take to repeat. And the way that I'm going to do that is, for now, I'm going to say maybe on this C4, that I'll do a note every 2. There we go. And in fact, just to make this really obvious, I'm just going to make this 3 long. Then on the E, let's do one every 5. On the G, let's do one every 7. On the D, let's do, say, one on every 4, but we're going to do it on the 2nd note. And then on the B, let's do one every 9, and we'll do this. So if I were to just press play now, kind of cool already. I do just want to add a little bit of effects just to make this even more interesting. Let's throw this through a reverb. And we'll also do a bit of a delay. Now, the one thing that is quite apparent here is this isn't really behaving like an arpeggiator, because we're actually getting notes playing at the same time. The definition of an arpeggiator, this is some cream soda, by the way. I've got really into this lately. Since quitting smoking, I've had to find new pleasures, and one of them is cream soda. But anyways, we've got notes playing at the same time. An arpeggio is when you break up a chord, which at some points we are getting 3 notes at once. You know, this first hit. So what we'd maybe like to do is explore using this monophonically. So even if there are 3 or 4 notes playing at the same time, only one will play. And I was exploring this the other day in a video, and I think I'd sort of just got caught up in the fact that with a bass line I didn't want multiple notes to be playing, and so what I'd done is I'd gone ahead and added a note grid. And I'd said, oh, we're going to make this note grid monophonic, and that way it only comes through here. Somebody had then commented and said, isn't it the same to just make polymer monophonic? No. And while they were correct that it probably would have made more sense in that case to just do a monophonic thing on polymer for a bass line where we don't want the notes to actually overlap, the difference between making polymer monophonic here and the other, let's listen first with just monophonic. this sounds okay, but if I wanted to have a tail, we're getting a monophonic sound out of the instrument. And what I quite like is the ability to, if we go up and add a note grid, is the note grid allows us to make the MIDI monophonic, but not the instrument. And the difference is, of course, now this means that I can have a really nice tail. Let's bring this down an octave. Maybe we'll even go, we'll take an envelope, we'll do an ADSR. We use this to just boost the skew a bit. Obviously this is a bit too long of a release, but the difference is, of course, that if I put this to monophonic, it doesn't sound nearly as magical. So this allows us to have a monophonic MIDI pattern going in, so only one note is going in at a time, but we're allowed to have a little bit of a tail coming through, which I just think is really rather lovely. Nice. We could even maybe take a humanize and just bring the chance down a little bit, so we're getting a little bit of variation with the velocity, a bit of timing, and also maybe not all notes are going to play. A little more chance. Nice. Now why don't we also take a stepwise, and I'm going to show you how we can use this for chords. So let's in fact just copy and paste this onto the same channel. And what I'm going to do now is change all of these to, say, a bar. We'll do bar. And I'm just going to add in, say, 5 notes here, 4 off. Let's do 3 there. Maybe we'll do this. There's no real logic to how I'm doing this. But what now happens is if we go here and we change this from pulse to gate, these aren't going to be sent out as individual notes. These are going to be sent out as a held note. So this will be one long note. And the goal really here is just to have a bit more spaciousness. So if we now go into, say, a polymer, I'm just going to mute the other for a second, you'll see that we're going to get sort of a chord sequence coming through. And let's put a big long attack, big long release, and let's see what this sounds like now. I'm going to also go down again. Really nice. I'm going to take another envelope here and just use a long attack to maybe open the skew a little bit more as well. Going to have a long decay, bit of a release here. I'm also going to take an LFO and we're going to use this to wobble the skew as well. Maybe make it a bit faster. But I'm going to take another envelope and we're going to use that envelope to actually choose the amount that that LFO is coming in. And I'm going to take a random note hold rate to pick the attack speed on this ADSR. Maybe we'll also duplicate that and have this one do something with the decay. Do one more and we'll do this. What did I just do? Decay? Sorry, we want to do that on sustain as well then. Okay, nice. Let's also take a random and we're going to make this random smooth, and this is going to change the overall speed of this LFO. We'll also make it per voice, just so everything is now going on its own crazy journey. Take one more random smooth moving LFO. We're going to use this on the panning, make it bipolar, so we're getting a nice bit of movement going on here. And let's bring back in our ARP sound. I'm actually going to get rid of the humanized thing because I do want them to just cut through. Very nice. I'm also going to add in a bit of sub here. Maybe we'll do -2. I'm going to click this on. This will just give us a bit of noise envelope as well. Very nice. Maybe we don't need too much of that, just 1%. Now, what else could we do? Maybe we could do a bit of fold, but I'm going to do that with something a bit faster. Maybe we'll also do a random, like really fast, smooth-ish moving random. kind of nice. We can use another random here to pick the overall speed of this per note. Let's make sure to send this through the reverb and the delay too. I'm going to go in here and take a counter, a note counter, because I feel like if we just solo this, could be nice to have some really short burst notes. So I'm going to do maybe a 3. I'm going to make this slightly longer. Small, but it's doing a decent amount and then further shaping that sound. I'm also going to take another random here and we're going to use this on note, hold, and we're going to use this to change the attack speed. We don't need this to be bipolar. Let's duplicate this and we'll do one as well which changes perhaps the overall attack of the filter. We'll do one more and we'll use this to change maybe the fold. Do one here for the decay. Not going too short, we're going to get that click. Kind of nice. Maybe we'll bring this down a touch. Really nice. I'm going to take another ADSR here and maybe use this to just boost up the noise a bit. And maybe we'll make it so that the velocity of that is what decides. So a higher velocity will have a bigger burst of noise, which means maybe we can now here go to say randomize and we're just going to change velocity. We can also make velocity play around with the overall amount of this envelope. So let's bring this down a bit. Because this is a beta version, we're having some issues where it's not actually showing the animation, indicating the amount of modulation. Probably want to bring the amount of fold automation down a little bit. I'm going to bring the volume down a touch as well. Maybe we can change some of these notes a bit. So I'm actually going to go to the project-wide automation now, and I'm going to take a button, because the button will allow me to be really specific. So we've got a C, E, G, D, A. I want to make this into an A. So for an A, I'm going to go down 3. Oh, in actual fact, no, we're going to go to maybe an F. So C sharp, E, E sharp, F. So it's going to be up 4. So let's go 4 here. I'm going to do an F major 7. So the E can stay the same. We need an F, an A. So this can go down 1. The G. Actually, no, what am I talking about? I'm going to go up 1. So actually up 2. G sharp, A. So F, A, and then we need a C. This can go down 2 from the D to the C. F, A, C, E, and G. So this B, actually we can keep the G as it is and we'll go from the B to an A. So we'll go down 2 on that one. So actually, yeah, okay, so nice. Now this button, in theory, has taken us to an F major 7. And if I turn this off, we've got a C major. So let's call this C to F. And I need to do exactly the same amount of automation on the other one. So what was this? This was, let's have a look. So 4, -2, and -2 on 5. So let's go here. We're going to go up 4. This was -2. And I've completely forgotten what we did. It was on note 1, 4, and 5. Okay, so 1, 4, and 5. Let's just go in here and we've got +4, -2, and -2. The only reason I've done it as a button is because it's now just easy for us to listen and hear like the different sound. We can turn that off. Now if I take a step sequencer, just super easy, super easy. I'm just going to go in here and say 2 steps, and each step is a bar, and on the second one, this turns it on. So let's make this say like 4 bars. Very nice. Maybe we actually want to change that +4 to, what is it, like a -8. So +4 will go -8, and this is just going to make that A go down real low. And this -2, maybe we could be a bit extreme and say on the 5th note, or on the 4th note, that actually goes up 10. Which could be kind of extreme. Let's have a listen. Also important on the polymer pad to turn off steel same key. Turning down some of the decay or the sustain on these guys. Lovely. And I'm feeling like this pad sound could be explored a little bit more. Maybe we'll bring down the filter here. Make the attacks really long on this guy. Maybe we could also do a bit more of this randomness on the amount that this filter opens up. I'm also going to go in and add some reverb actually on this channel. Maybe we can even take a pitch shifter. We'll go up 12, add a delay. After that we'll add a chorus on 8V. Kind of crazy that. Maybe we can take the freak shifter, we'll make the width crazy, a bit of delay, a bit of feedback. Sounds really quite lovely. I'm going to do a little less skew on both of these, because I want this to feel a little less excessively dark. Maybe we'll also turn it on bipolar and change the pitch, so it's now like extra stereo. We'll go down -1, so the chord is a bit less low. Oh, that's really nice. Maybe we'll also use a random here on the glide. So some of the notes are going to glide like crazy. Starting to sound a lot more interesting. Let's do another random here, but this random won't be on note. This will be free, and we'll do, say, hertz, smooth moving, and we're going to use this to play around with the phase modulation. We'll take another random, and we'll use this to change the speed of the first phase modulation. It's starting to be really beautiful. Let's also make sure just in this sense that maybe we'll do a small size but a long decay. I'm going to roll off some of the unnecessary lows in this reverb, maybe boost some of the highs. I feel like this could, we could experiment some more with this. So let's take, like, say, parameter seek 8. I'm going to do note advance. I'm going to use this for something a little bit kooky. Maybe we'll do, like, when the skew comes up, the decay and the sustain really comes down. It's a bit hard when you can't actually see what's going on. Actually, that's kind of annoying because I can't really see it at all, so I'm going to take that off for now. And I actually just want to bring the release on all of these guys down a touch. It's so irritating not being able to see. What if I delete the channel and then bring it back again? Has that fixed it? Let's see. Yes, it has. Okay, well there you go. That's a little lesson for you there. Okay, that's nice. It's got a little bit more groove, a bit more roll to it. Let's bring the main reverb in. Let's go down 8 so we can have this as an actual bass. Probably a good reason to have the release shorter. I'll go down to 4. Kind of nice. Okay, let's now also take a stepwise, and we're going to use this stepwise for some sort of drum stuff. So let's take the V8 kick, and we're just going to do a really simple let's put this in a drum rack, drum machine. And I'm going to put a tom in C sharp. Let's go for the V0 tom, I quite like that. I'm going to actually take this down to a C. Go down -4. And because these are in here, I'm actually going to say that this is choked by the kick. So now, let's take another tom, and this one is currently at a C. Let's put this to a G, so this will be our 5th, and we'll put this here. So it's like, this is also going to be choked by the kick. And these will probably also be choked, this tom can also be choked by the tom, so they can choke each other. Choked by all, I guess that's all you have to do. Choke targets, all. So it's kind of nice. So this is our low end. Let's go into that kick. Well, the kick's coming in an F sharp, so let's put this to an A even. That's kind of nice. I'm going to duplicate this and do some kind of hi-hat or some perks on another. So let's take a rim, an 808 rim shot maybe, and I'm going to do something a bit simple. So we'll just do like an offbeat rim. But I'm also going to put it on key tracking, so we'll say C4, maybe C5, and I'm going to pick a different pattern here. We're going to say every 7, let's do something like this, and this can be a C6. Maybe we'll even do a G5. Here's kind of a cool thing. So what if I wanted to have some noise only on these hits? Well, because this is dictated by a G, I could actually go in here and I can say pitch 12. Let's just take a G. So this is G. Just on Gs, increase the noise. So now you'll see. We could change with any of those parameters, so maybe we'll do something like really obvious there. So let's do this, and we'll do this can be an E6. And we'll say the E, so C, D, E. This has a different tone and bite and volume. So we'll say, yeah, E's are quieter. Kind of cool. Maybe we could even do something like this. I don't know if this is going to work, but like a crazy LFO. This doesn't work unless the note is an E. So let's see what that does. I mean, that's kind of cool. I wonder if there is a way to pick which Like if just E's have a reverb on them. I'm not going to go and explore that now, but that's a kind of nice vibe. Okay, let's now just take, for good measure, the stepwise, and I'm going to do C5. I'm going to do E5. We'll do G5, B5, and D5. And I'm just going to do a strange pattern like this, and I'm going to explore what happens if you just make music based off of it, if it looks nice. So this looks kind of cool. I'm assuming it's going to sound good too. Let's see. So let's put some instrument on here. I'm going to take a polymer again, and we'll do just a tiny little bleep. Let's turn this down, and this is going to be like a polyphonic pattern. So it's like. Nice, and I also want to do with this, say, a note counter, make this per voice, it already is, and this note counter is going to split over 7 panning, so we're going to say left. Kind of weird. Let's take a random here as well, and we'll do a smooth moving random. I'm going to use this on skew. Send through a reverb. Now let's go to the master channel. I'm going to add a really slow classic LFO. We're going to go in here and we're going to say 0.1 hertz. Duplicate this LFO so we've got another. We're going to use this to change the speed of the first one. And this is going to go on a variety of things. So let's go in here and we're going to use the output of this on the filter. I'm going to make both these not bipolar. And the point of this is just to create like some fusion when things increase. We can also go into this one. And this is just to create some, like, as I said, some cohesion between when strange things happen. They happen on a variety of the sounds all at once. Now I need to make this even slower, or the amount of modulation much slower. And I'm going to duplicate this. I've got another slow moving LFO. Let's pair them up like this. Change the speed again a little bit. And we're going to use this to change the speed of that one. And this is going to be used to make everything smaller. So sometimes they pair together, creating a smaller experience for all involved. Let's go back to this polymer right here. And I'm really just dialing down the amount of modulation on everything. Again, bringing the filter down, maybe a little bit of attack. Very nice. Maybe we could even use this to bring down the length of the kick. Really lovely. A fun thing that we could do as well is to say, take a note transpose. And I'm also going to, before that, just put, or after that, should I say, put a key filter just to make sure that we stay in C major. I'm going to group this together. Are they in the same group? Yes, they are. Maybe, yeah, C major, that's fine. Now I'm going to take an LFO, and we're going to use this LFO to increase by, say, 15 steps. So if we were to just listen to it now, it sounds a bit fucked. It's because it's also going above and below. We don't want it to go above and below, just above. So I'm going to start this up just above, and I'm going to duplicate this onto every channel, or every musical channel. So before polymer, oh wait, what have I done? Before this polymer we'll have that as well, and then on this polymer we'll have this as well. So this is going to basically move the pitch, everything all at once. Maybe we'll do filter to see if that makes it sound any better. Let's see. Filter. Let's do it on here as well. It's definitely behaving strange. Maybe it should go inside note grid. Yeah, it's it's behaving very strange. What we would like actually is I'm just going to undo it a bunch, see if that's the best way of doing this. Get rid of that. Cool. So what I would actually really like is to have the ability to do it in here. So we're just going to add in all the notes that are in C major into the note grid. And then also we had here not a note grid, but we can add one. We'll do note grid, and this is fine. We have a bunch of notes on that. Let's do, oh, what am I doing? Quantize, put the pitch on here. And then seeing as the other one is also polyphonic, I can just copy and paste this onto here. Now, the point of this is that now I can actually take a transpose module and put that here into the pitch. And I'm going to take an LFO, and we'll use this LFO to fuck with the pitch here. So we'll go up, say 15 step. Way too fast that, slow it down. Cool, okay, so now let's go back to this other one. I can copy and paste this onto this layer as well, rather than that note grid. And then we'll do the same automation that's already on there. And actually, let's just copy and paste this onto this one as well, but we'll just make this monophonic. So now, obviously it's going to sound really fucking weird. Really strange. But what I want to do now is take a random, and we'll say that this is off almost all of the time. But then this smooth moving random will actually sometimes increase the amount that this weird pitch thing happens. So by default now it's basically almost always off. Then the crazy pitch comes in. If I were to turn off the depth of this random, now nothing happens on here either. So we'll take another random and use that to turn the depth on there. So we've got like multiple stages of the randomness, picking randomness. Do a slightly slower speed. Now this just means occasionally we're going to get potentially some different experiences coming through. So, but it will all be unified. There's some sort of noise thing in here that's actually annoying me a little bit. So I'm going to go in here. Sounds kind of nice. Let's also just take a stepwise. And we're going to use this with some sort of hat. So we'll go for the V8 hat. Do pitch. Something like this, so like a really high pitch. We say when it's a C, so pitch 12 again, and we'll say when it is a C, turn the noise off. So now, and also when it's a C, make the decay really short and the color really bright, and we'll see how that goes. C sharp, make the decay really long. throw this also through the delay. Maybe we can make it so that the delay actually increases when the vibe increases again as well. I'd also love to have just one more delay as a send, and this delay does some strange repitch effect things. So we'll take a random that is smooth, and it's just changing the rate here from nothing to crazy. And occasionally we will also take another random here, and we're going to use this random smoothly to sometimes send this first guy. Let's just do it like this. This will sometimes send this first one through there. I'm going to duplicate this, different speed. This is sometimes going to send this through there. Has that actually done it? No. There we go. And then we'll also have another random that will, again at a different speed, sometimes send this through there. And then this delay is obviously changing speed, making sure that we put it on repitch here, which is of course going to give it that weird wobbly wonky effect. And then let's also send the output of this delay into the first reverb and the second delay. And also send it back into itself. Who knows? Let's have a listen. Let's take another random and use that to bring the volume up and down on this delay. We'll make actually the amount of this delay increase the volume. Brought that up an octave. Call this pluck or mono pluck. This is our chord pad, rim shots, and this is our sequence, and then these are our hats. Let's see, what is this sequence? Okay, this sounds cool, but I feel like we can do something a bit crazy with it. Let's just take a wavetable LFO and we'll use that to maybe fuck around with something like this. Let's change the actual shape. Kind of cool. I really don't know what I'm doing with this. I'm just doing some strange shit. Let's also take a curves, even just on this default mode. Let's do something with the filter. Let's make this non-bipolar. We need to delete this and undo it again so that we can get back to the control of actually how much is going on here. This is way too much. Classic LFO, also way too much. Wavetable LFO, way too much. Kind of fun. You guys won't have Skaka, but I'm just gonna throw in a little shaker for good measure. Let's just bounce this so you guys have it. Actually, I just want a shaker. I don't want this top thing. So let's just bounce that. Let's also just take one for good measure macro that we can use to make everything go a bit crazy. We'll go to the reverb here. a step sequencer to play with this. And I guess our silly sequence thing, this one here does need to kind of have a bit of rhythm that's going to it that isn't at the moment because I've just fucked it up with this shit. Let's get rid of that. Let's make sure that this is actually on some sort of division. Maybe the kick needs to be a little bit lower. This is definitely having something strange happening with it that I don't think is necessary. I wonder if it has anything to do with the actual delay. Let's put some EQs on these guys and then let's wrap this up. Let's bring the volume down a bit. Just for good measure, let's just put a rim shot on the snare, or maybe even the clave. Maybe we'll go for the 909 rim shot. Do a bit of panning. Maybe we can even do it on the master channel. We'll take this smooth moving an LFO here can change the panning of the reverb. Pitch shifter on the delay as well. We'll take an LFO. We'll put that in a group, make it dry wet, put a delay after it as well. I really have no idea where we're going with this. Let's do some sort of thing like this. We'll do some high C's that make that only happen on the 4th play through. Oh, sorry, the 1st of 4. Ooh, that's nice, having that punch. Out of interest, what does this sound like through tonal balance control? Okay, so you think that it's too bassy, huh? That's fair enough. What about after God Particle? Now let's see if there are any presets of mine that I can just throw in here. Maybe the Fisherman's Shell pad. I'm going to play a little riff like. Ooh! Let's play that in. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I didn't like that last note, but we are doing something, that's for sure. So let's go back to... This would be good to do some kind of crazy panning. Turn it down, throw it into the reverb and the delay. Also, one final thing is it would be kind of cool to have the kick be only heavy on the 2 and the 4. So I'm going to do that with just 4 steps, and we'll say quarter notes, and then we're going to make the decay real short. Actually, maybe we won't do it with the decay, we'll do it with drive. Drive and decay. So we'll say on the 2nd and the 4th, make the drive a bit longer and the decay and... That's really, really lovely. Just going absolutely crazy with the panning here. Maybe we can also take one more LFO and use this to change the speed of this one. And then this one. Oh, that's really nice. And we'll take one more step sequencer just for good measure, and here we're going to go 8 steps, and on this final one we're going to make this go 2 down 12. So we'll go, actually we'll go up 12. Let's see what that sounds like. No, we're not going to do that. On that note, I think it's probably best if we just wrap this up. This has been a pretty cool track. I'm going to upload the project file. Obviously tonal balance control should be deleted, and the God particle. So for now, let's just go in here and put a limiter on this. That about wraps it up for today, so let's just fucking mute that shit. Happy Friday and happy creating. Hope you've enjoyed this.